Disney cast members have to follow a lot of rules to keep their jobs. So many that even the Disney food blog noticed. So, Disney Food Blog just recently posted a video called 20 Strict Rules Disney Employees Must Follow. I had a couple people refer to it on my page and thought, oh, this is going to be a cool video. I watched about a minute of it and went, ooh, liking this. So I reached out and contacted AJ over the Disney Food Blog, and they were wonderfully kind to allow me to do a video reaction. And want to make sure I got you a link to the original video. So there will be a link right up there for you, or down in the description as well, if you want to check the whole video uninterrupted and unedited. I haven't seen the vast majority of the video because I wanted you to see my reactions genuinely as they happen. So this should be a lot of fun, and we'll get to talk about these rules and what it's like to have to live by them. Are they good rules? Are they bad rules? Are they silly rules? You ready to jump in? I am.
Working at Disney World means you're in the middle of the magic day in and day out, but it all comes with some pretty strict rules and codes of conduct.
How do you win Disney?
Hey everybody, it's AJ for Disney Food Blog. Okay, all of the Disney employees, or cast members as they're called, that you'll see on your vacation, have gone through hours of training and must follow specific guidelines on their appearance and how they act.
True of any job.
All of Disney World is viewed as a stage, and when cast members are on stage, and sometimes when they're not, they need to follow certain rules.
Yep.
These are just 20 of the things Disney employees have to do to keep their jobs. Number 1, attend Traditions. So Traditions is Disney's mandatory training and orientation program.
So Traditions is absolutely a must for everybody. I've actually done a couple videos about these already. It's where you talk about the 4 keys to the kingdom: safety, courtesy, show, and efficiency. So it covers that, the history, a lot of your basics. So things you need to know about working in the park. So yes, Traditions is not a big secret there.
New cast members tour the utilidors, which are the tunnels beneath Magic
Only if you work Magic Kingdom.
And get their first name tag along with a Mickey ear hat.
The utilidors tour only comes if you're working Magic Kingdom. If you're going to be working Epcot, Hollywood Studios, Animal Kingdom, or the resorts, you don't get the utilidor tour. And in fact, really, when I did my intro tour at Magic Kingdom, it actually didn't include the utilidors at the time. We got the tour in the park, and we talked briefly about it, but we really didn't go down in them. You do get your name tag. The ears kind of varies. I did not get ears at my Traditions class. I wish I had, but they didn't give them out to us at the time. But there are other classes that do. You definitely get your name tag, though.
All right, second thing you have to do to keep your job, never sell your comp tickets.
This is true at any job for a theme park. If you are caught selling your comp tickets, and this was true, Busch Gardens, Disney, Silver Dollar City, any of them, if they find out you've been selling your comp tickets, you're going to get fired in a hurry. Plus, they will actually deactivate your tickets. So whoever you sold it to, if they try to use it after you got fired, they won't be able to use it. Don't do that. That's part of your deal. You're not supposed to make money off of your job outside of your job while you're there. Yeah, don't sell those tickets unless you don't care to keep your job.
Number 3, never drink or misbehave with your name tag on. Drinking with your name tag on.
Okay, not just drinking. You are allowed to have water from your official company-approved water bottle on your belt. Other than that, you are not supposed to eat or drink anything where a guest can see you if you are in costume. Not just in the parks, but that includes out of the parks as well. So if you're on your way to work and you stop at McDonald's and you're eating in costume, technically you could get in trouble for that. You probably won't because you're not at company property at the time. If you're eating, you are supposed to be on break and out of sight of the guests. Yeah, no rides in costume unless it's part of your official duties. Anything like that, you don't do in costume.
Once you're on stage with that name tag on, you are representing Disney, and everything you do needs to be in line with the company policies at all times. So if you've got the name tag on, you're working, and drinking on the job is a surefire way to get fired from Disney.
And that's true of most
All right, number
jobs,
4,
too.
keep facial hair at the right length. Disney's recently relaxed some of the, quote, Disney look, unquote, rules, but it's still pretty strict.
When I was there, there was no stubble, no mustache, no beards. While I was working at Disney, it did change, and you were allowed to have a mustache, but it had to be fully grown in, which meant you'd have to take time off to grow your mustache. Beards were still a big, huge no-no. Now they do allow beards and mustaches. The stubble depends upon where you are and if you've got time management. Stubble, I've gotten mixed things from. But when I was there, it was a huge no-no. And if you came in with stubble, they would hand you a shaver or a day off that you didn't want. For me, I don't grow very much. This is actually this is 2 days growth. I had to think about that. And you can see there's not much there. So I could get away with it a little bit. Now, Silver Dollar City was very different, though, because with the Ozark culture, we were allowed to grow a lot more facial hair. Beards, mustaches, long beards. As long as it wasn't a safety hazard, you were fine.
All right, number 5, you must pin trade. If a cast member is working in a retail location, they better be ready to give up those pins because pin trading is required. Disney keeps some buckets of pins just backstage for this purpose, but anything on that lanyard is up for grabs if a guest wants to trade.
So here's the deal with pin trading. If you were at some locations and have a pin trading lanyard, that lanyard is not yours, it is the company's. Every pin on it is up for trade. If you are a cast member and you have pins that you want to keep, you don't bring them in while you're working, or you keep them in your lunch bag or locked up somewhere. You don't carry them on you. The only pins a cast member is supposed to wear are the company pins on the company pin trading lanyards. They generally do not keep buckets conveniently available. Each park has a pin trading station backstage where you take the company lanyards and they will refresh them with the stock there. There are some stores that will keep a little bucket there with a few extras. Those are in case a pin gets lost, broken, or sometimes if a cast member sees somebody doing something really nice, they may give a pin free. That's rare, but that's what it's there for. It's just a quick emergency supply. It's not just a, hey, let's change everything up. There's exceptions to that, of course, everywhere. If a cast member is wearing a pin trading lanyard, those are company pins that they are trading. It's not their pins. That's why they have to trade them, because it's not theirs. Their own pins, however, if they come in the park on their own time and they're wearing their own lanyard with their own pins on it, they're not representing the company, and yes, they can trade at that point. There are age things too, so depending upon the color, they can tell you no. They can also refuse if they're not real Disney pins, and if you're just being rude, they can tell you no. So there are options to say no, but generally they are supposed to say yes.
Number 6, everybody knows this one, always point with 2 fingers. We recently talked about how the 2-finger point is a bit of an homage to Walt himself and his not-so-magical smoking habit. But the official word from Disney is...
So, yes, you were supposed to point with 2 fingers. Absolutely. Because that is a cultural thing. Pointing with 1 finger is rude. So 2 fingers is the deal, and it's still habit. When I was at Silver Dollar City with Craig and Brendan, they were laughing at me because I was pointing with 2 fingers. It has nothing to do with Walt smoking. Walt did not smoke in front of people. He did not smoke in the park. He did not smoke in front of guests. He never had a cigarette in front of people where he would be pointing with the cigarette. He did not want people to follow his bad habit. He knew it was bad. He knew it was unhealthy. He didn't do it in front of people. Never in the park. So the idea that it's a 2-finger to hold your cigarette is a myth. Not real. Sorry, AJ.
All right, no photos backstage. Cast members are barred from breaking the magic, and that means no photos backstage.
Very true.
And no bragging about being Cinderella's friend.
This is something they occasionally allow a photo op or something, but I have people that, why don't you have more pictures of the utilidors or backstage or showing characters? Because I liked my job. If you were caught taking a picture backstage at all, ever, when I was there, it was instant termination. You were done, fired, job over. So no pictures backstage at all, ever. Now occasionally they have some rare, they call them backstage magic, where they will set up a quick photo opportunity for something and you can only take it with a certain backdrop in a certain way. Even that's not the norm. So nope, no photos backstage.
Being on your phone while on stage isn't allowed either. Cast members can carry their phone in their pocket while working, but they're never allowed to use it unless it's a literal emergency.
And there's a couple small exceptions. Your personal cell phone, never, ever, never, never, never. And I've seen some parks starting to loosen this. I've seen it start to happen at Silver Dollar City. I have seen it occasionally at Disney. When I was there, if your cell phone made an appearance, it was, again, instant termination. They do have company phones that managers will use, and you'll see them on their phones. But the regular cast members are a big no-no. That's why when I saw the reopening to Disneyland Paris and they were showing the characters out, and all these cast members with their phones was kind of like shocking, because it'd be a no-no here in the States. You're still not supposed to have it. They're not as strict as they used to be, but I wish they would be. Yeah, no phones on stage.
No crazy nails or nail colors. You'll never see
Yep.
a cast member with crazy sparkly nails. That's because there are strict rules on everything to do with appearance, even down to your fingernails.
Certain colors that they have, they actually do tell you what colors you can use and which ones you can't. So, yep, that's nothing unusual. All part of the appearance guidelines.
And of course, if your nails have to be on point, so does your hair. You must always have a natural hair color while working for Disney. So if you dye your hair, you're going to need to keep up on those roots.
That hasn't changed, so no blue hair, no pink hair. Rare occasions if you are an entertainer and that is part of your persona while you're performing. So a couple stage performers have been the rare exceptions on that. They are very picky on that, and yes, hair has to be natural.
All right, number 10, keep jewelry and makeup low key. Nothing about your appearance should draw too much attention while you're working at Disney.
That's actually not really a change. You were always allowed a basic watch, not anything fancy, not a computerized one. You were allowed one ring on each hand. You were allowed a basic necklace. Depending upon what it was, guys were not supposed to have one. Basic earrings. In fact, I believe Disney now allows double piercing. I might be wrong on that, but it was always single piercing for the ladies. Men were not allowed to have pierced ears. Basic Disney costuming guidelines, and I've actually got a video where I talk about that some.
Now, you can't have any logos either. Most of a cast member's outfit will be logo free, but if they're wearing sunglasses, they better not have a logo on them. Water bottles can't show logos either. Cast members will remove bottle labels or keep them stored in an unmarked bottle carrier.
This is true, and it was kind of a pain sometimes. We were allowed to wear sunglasses. I very quickly learned with my glasses and bringing a camera up that was not a good idea, because you'd have a camera then smash your glasses and it kind of smash your head, and it did not work well. The water bottles, if you just stick with the basic company water bottle, you're fine, no issues. Shoes were the big problem, because most shoes have logos, and trying to find shoes without logos meant a lot of times you're buying cheap junk, which when you're on your feet all day is not a good thing. I prefer Skechers. Skechers work great, and even trying to find some Skechers without the very obvious S, it could be problematic sometimes. It could be done, but it was some work.
All right, so piercings and tattoos are also a no-go for cast members.
I think I just mentioned
extra
this.
piercings are allowed beyond a single ear piercing, and visible tattoos are not allowed either.
Yeah,
Most
no tats.
costumes have long sleeve and long pant variations to help cover any tattoos.
It's one of the reasons you'll see long sleeves, long pants on a lot of the cast members to hide tattoos. There is makeup to cover it. It was actually one thing that was really kind of surprising when I was at Disneyland Paris, because I saw a few cast members that were tattoos. They're allowed in France, but not in the States. So yeah, here you still got to cover up and make it not obvious. So if you've put a tattoo on your face, you've pretty much tatted yourself out of a job at Disney. Same thing with your neck, some place you can't cover up. Arms and hands, you can cover up with some makeup. You can try, but it's hard on the hands. No visible tattoos. And yeah, she just mentioned the piercings that I mentioned earlier.
No eating on the job, number 13.
I think I covered this one already, so it goes right along with the drinking.
There are employee break rooms at each park, and there are a few backstage places to grab some lunch. There's even a Subway sandwich shop in the utilidors beneath the Magic Kingdom. And each park has a cafeteria for employees to grab a meal as well.
Oh, by the way, the Subway, pretty much every Disney park has a Subway backstage. Animal Kingdom might be the one exception, but Epcot has one, Hollywood Studios has one, so yeah, they're there, but no $5 footlongs. They're more like $7 footlongs.
Next up, you do have to get changed after work in order to keep your job at Disney. Cast members are not supposed to hit the grocery store in full work costume.
You are supposed to change your outfit, but let's be honest, if you're on your way to work or on your way home, if you are still wearing your costume, if you've got one of the costumes you can actually take home and you wash yourself, it's not unusual for people to be in the grocery store or running through a fast food joint or something in their costume. It does happen. You're not supposed to do it, but I am not aware of anybody ever getting in trouble for doing it. So it's not the same as in the days where you picked up your costume when you arrived, changed into it, and then on your way out, you change back out and turn in your costume. There are some costumes that do that, and you can technically do that if you really want, but most cast members now wear their regular in-park or at the resort costumes home. And yes, they do go shopping in it, and not supposed to, but yeah, wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Number 15, no selfies with celebrities. So celebrities visit Disney all the time, but if you're working there, you cannot fangirl or fanboy out and ask for a selfie or an autograph.
The policy basically was, if there was a celebrity there, you treat them as any other guest. You don't do anything differently. And if you pull out the phone to get a selfie or you ask for an autograph or something like that, it could very quickly and easily cost you your job. Let them be them. Let them have a normal day or assist them as you need to. Yes, we cross paths with them, on a regular basis. And you just let them go do their job while you do yours.
Next up, be well behaved, even off the clock. So cast members definitely go to the parks on their day off. They want to enjoy Disney too, and that's one of the perks of working there. But just because it's their day off doesn't mean Disney employees can go crazy drinking around Epcot. And if a cast member gets in trouble, even off the clock, it can mean some big consequences.
Depending upon what it is, you were generally expected as a cast member to set the standard for guests. In fact, there was almost even an unsaid rule that if you were in the park on your day off and you were a cast member and somebody needed some assistance, answering questions, guidance, you were definitely kind of, hey, go ask, go help. Yeah, if you're in the park, you are expected to behave and set a standard. I do know some that did the drinking around the world, and by the end were, let's just say, having a really good time, or at least I thought so. But you still had to behave. If you got in trouble in the park on your day off, you were going to get in trouble when you came back to work. And yeah, getting into legal trouble outside could get you fired, but again, that's one of those things that's true of almost any job, so.
Number 17, you got to learn to speak in code. Disney employees will speak in code when they need to announce something or notify other cast members of a situation. For instance, 101 means that a ride is temporarily down. Codes are usually used in front of guests, and most guests won't know what 101 means, and it sounds a whole lot better than the ride just broke down.
Silver Dollar City, we had radio codes. Busch Garden had certain codes. Yes, it's partially to obscure it from guests, but it's also so that you can communicate and be on the same page. The codes will vary from place to place and park to park. So Disney had the 101, 102. Silver Dollar City had a completely different set of codes. And you did have certain other codes for Disney. You had a protein spill. Basically, somebody got sick. So there were other things that you would use to kind of hide it, but it wasn't. It was a mixed thing of, yes, trying to not put information in for a guest that you wanted to, but at the same time, it also helped make things clear for the cast members so they would know exactly what was going on and what to do to help make sure that things were working as well as possible with the guests. Any job has its lingo, and that's true at the parks too.
Something else that Disney cast members have to make sure they do is recognize that Disney World doesn't exist when you're in Galaxy's Edge.
This is
new. You
new.
might not realize it, but all of the cast members working in Galaxy's Edge are playing a character, and that character lives in a galaxy far, far away and has never heard of Disney World.
I haven't been to Hollywood Studios version, so I can't comment there. When we were at Disneyland, this was a mix of yes and no. They would use the bright suns, but they would also say good morning. If you asked which was the quickest way to Big Thunder, they would point you to which end of the Galaxy's Edge area to go to get to Big Thunder quicker. So they did answer questions and acknowledge it was there, but it was, again, a little more subdued, trying to keep that land real. Yes and no, and again, I haven't been to studios, so I can't say what their version exactly is like on that, but there was definitely flexibility on that at Disneyland.
Also, you can never say, I don't know. Cast members are super knowledgeable and should be able to answer any standard question a guest might have, like how to get somewhere or the park hours. But if something more complicated comes up, they can't say, I don't know.
She kind of covers this at the end. You can say, I don't know, if it's followed up with, but let me find out for you. You're allowed to not know something. But if you don't know something, you should be following it up with, but we're going to find it out and we're going to discover it together and we're going to get you an answer. Or we're going to take you to somebody who can get you an answer. There were times as a photographer, people would be asking me about rides. Well, I had no clue as a photographer what was open and what wasn't. We didn't carry radios. One of the things that we did was we learned where we could go ask. I don't know what's open or not, but let me take you over to the guest relations spot here by the signboard. Let me take you into the store and we can make a quick phone call and find out. You do your best to find an answer. And sometimes they would ask things that you just generally can't know. What's the weather going to be like tonight? Well, this is Florida. It's a 50% chance of rain, it's a 50% chance not. I don't know. There were times you could say you didn't know.
I love this one, number 20. This reminds me of Walt Disney himself, and that is to pick up the trash and the litter and the garbage. Now, every Disney employee, no matter what your position, is expected to help keep the park clean. If you notice a piece of trash, you've got to pick it up, but you can't just stoop down and grab it. Cast members are trained to swoop and scoop. It's basically a choreographed move to make picking up trash look a little more graceful.
Now, one thing I do laugh about is some of the things that are said about the Disney scoop. It's special training so that you can do this more gracefully. What they tell you in traditions is, if you see a piece of trash on the ground, don't bend over and get it and stick your rear end up in the air. Bend down. Bend your knees, crouch, and scoop as you go by. Now, if this is a used napkin or a tissue or something somebody's been smearing, okay, you're not going to pick that up with your hand. In that case, you find somebody that's got the grabbers, like a manager, because you'll see they'll be walking around with grabbers in their hand. That's why, is to pick up trash like that, along with the custodians. Or you stop at one of the little food places nearby and grab another napkin and then use it to pick it up. But yes, everybody picks up trash from the highest to the lowest. Not just a Disney thing. Universal does the same thing. Silver Dollar City and Hershey Parks do the same thing. You see a piece of trash, pick it up. And don't glower at the guest who just threw it on the ground either. But yeah, the Disney scoop isn't as big a deal as people make it think. They tell you that because, believe it or not, people have thrown out their backs bending over to pick up trash. So you go down this way, not this way. And that's going to help you pick up the trash safer, not hurt your back. And yes, it does look much more graceful as a side benefit than somebody sticking their rear end up in the air at you, which you don't necessarily want. So that's her 20 strict rules. Really fun, really cool. Almost dead on with most of them. A couple, there's some shades there. Hope you enjoyed this look at her look. Go check out the full original video. I did edit parts of it out just because I want you to go hear everything she's got to say and go check it out. Disney Food Blog is one of my favorites. Hope you enjoyed this. Were there other rules you're curious about? Other things you want to know? Let me know in the comments below. I would love to hear. Be sure to check that description below too. There's a link to the original video there. There's also all sorts of information about fan pages and merchandise and equipment I use and things like that. It's all in the description. I also want to give a huge shout out to my YouTube members, to my patrons for their financial support. It's huge. It means so much. And even some of the clips and other things I've put in here myself have come because they have been able to bless me and help me to go get some of that. They also get some neat perks too, and if you want to know more about those, be sure to check the links below. I also want to give a huge shout out to my new patrons. A big, huge welcome to Hydro Phoenix. Thank you so much for your support. I'd love to know where that name comes from. That's a cool name, Hydro Phoenix. And then also to Megan Williams. Thank you so much. Thank you as well so much for watching. God bless. And Disney Food Blog just recently talked about this, and it's going to be interesting to see some of these. Okay, that's terrible. Still don't like that. Let's try it without the glasses, see if that helps. It's where you talk about the 4 keys to the kingdom, which are safety, show, efficiency, and I'm going to forget my 4th key. Oh no, this is terrible. If you'd like to know about my merchandise, contact information, fan pages, and more, be sure to check the description below. If you want to make sure you don't miss any of my videos, hit that button right there to subscribe. And if you want to see another one, well, I've got a great video for you right here. If you like to be like these wonderful people here too and support me financially on Patreon or YouTube, well, hit that little button right there. It'll even give you behind the scenes access and more perks. Thank you so incredibly much for watching, and God bless.